The other day, a writer emailed me and said, I'm really starting to lose motivation. Should I skip ahead to a more interesting part of my story and come back to the beginning later? So in this video, I want to talk about that. Should you skip ahead in this situation? Is it risky to write your novel out of order? Why or why not? Let's go. I heard the coolest story recently. A writer told me about an author who jots down the scenes he knows he needs to write on index cards, and then he folds them in half and he puts them in a jar. And every day he pulls out an index card, and whatever scene he's pulled, that's the scene he writes. I thought this was such a fun idea for marrying structure and serendipity. It's spontaneous, but also not random. It allows for surprise and discovery while also incorporating some planning. And working within the tension of spontaneity and planning is so much of what novel writing really is. I definitely don't think there is anything wrong with writing a story out of order. I believe in writing a story in the order that it comes to you, period. Authors write out of order all the time, including myself. In fact, I will lean into whatever feeling I'm feeling in a given moment. And a lot of the time that does happen to translate to me writing the story in order, but not always. For example, sometimes I'll tap into whatever emotion, I'm experiencing in that moment in order to take advantage of it. If I'm feeling anger and I know I have an angry scene coming up, I'll go ahead and write that scene. Much easier to write an angry scene when you're actually angry, right? And frankly, later you can piece it all together anyway. It's not that hard if you have a sense of what your plot is. I also really like that this kind of flexibility can help me reach my daily writing goal, whatever that is. Whether that's writing a scene that day, or writing 10 pages, or writing 2,000 words. Whatever your goal is, this can help. So to go back to that same example, if I'm in a bad mood or just feeling down, but the next scene in my book is a party scene with a lot of witty banter and some humor, it's gonna be hard to pull myself out of my funk to be fun and funny on paper. So I might just decide, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna meet my writing goal today. It sounds too hard, which is fine. I mean, those days happen. But if I'm open to writing a future scene that isn't as challenging based on my present emotional state, that becomes a new option. It's a third option, and third options are always good. A friend once said to me something that stuck. She said, 2 options never feel like a real choice. They feel like a trap. 3 options feels like a real choice. So giving yourself the freedom to write future scenes creates a third path in addition to simply, write today or don't write today. It creates a real choice. On the contrary, if I'm in a giddy mood and the next scene in my book is a dark argument, I might not feel like going there either. But if I know I have this more joyful scene coming up later, maybe I skip ahead there instead on a happy day. In sum, I don't think there is any issue with skipping around. And in fact, I encourage it. I think it's a great way to keep going and a great way to actually meet your writing goals. Speaking of writing, are you writing a book or do you want to write a book? Because if so, I would love to hear from you. When I'm not writing, my mission is to help writers write their dream books. And if you're curious to know more, I have a free video walking you through my 4 notebooks method for writing a novel. You can get it and my free template for using the 4 notebooks method by applying for my program, the Book Incubator, a 12-month MFA alternative. The application is just 2 questions. It'll take you under 5 minutes. I just ask you to tell me a little bit about you and your book idea. Go to thebookincubator.com or the link below. I hope to hear from you.